All right, so we're going to talk about how to answer this question. If you're having trouble with it, you can skip this video if you are good to go, but we'll check it out. So initially, our goal is just to try to identify the traits that everything has in common versus the traits that are in what we are called the out group, which is something that's not in common with everything else. So if we're looking at this chart, what we can easily identify, I think, is that the iguana here has none of these traits. It's got 0 for everything. So the iguana is going to be what in general we call the out group, and so it's going to be the thing that we sort of want to label as the out group. It's going to be a little bit different. The beaver, however, has all of these traits. It has long gestation, it has gestation, obviously, and then it has hair and mammary glands. So it means that this thing is going to be the furthest related from the iguana. And so we know that when we construct our tree, we want to place the iguana and the beaver at opposite ends. And so the easiest way, I think, to do it is let's create just a line first. And in that line, I think we can make a little text box. We can put iguana. Iguana is going to go there because we know that iguana is going to be far separated from everything else. The easiest way to do the other part is we know that beaver is going to be really far away too, so I'm going to draw another line, and I can label that beaver. There we go. So now we know that the beaver and the iguana are really far apart from each other. So somewhere in between, we need to put the duck-billed platypus, and we need to put the kangaroo. The other issue is that we need to make sure that these traits, hair and mammary glands, gestation, and long gestation, really fall within the lines that we're going to put here. So what I can see next is, so I've got the iguana, it's got 0 of the traits. Then we're going to look at the duck-billed platypus. Okay, the duck-billed platypus is 1 of the traits, which means that it's probably closer to the iguana than it is to the beaver. The beaver's got all of the traits, and we know 1 is a little bit closer to 0, so I'm probably going to put another line here, and from there I can put in duck-billed plat. That's going to be my duck-billed platypus, and I can put that right there. Okay, but now we have to fill in the trait, because we know that between the iguana and the duck-billed platypus, what we actually had was the evolution of hair and mammary glands. And so what I'm going to do is draw a line here, and that's going to signify my trait, and I can put hair and mammary. And that's going to go right there to identify that this is a trait that is evolving after the iguana but before the duck-billed platypus. Okay, well, we have everything else. So we have iguana, duck-billed platypus, and beaver, so we really only have one more thing, and it's the kangaroo. So I know that the kangaroo is going to go between these two things. The way that I know that is because the kangaroo has closer characteristics to the beaver. It's got 2 out of the 3 things that the beaver has, so it's going to be closer to the beaver. And it also has the hair and mammary glands, and so everything that goes after it is going to have hair and mammary glands, so we're going to put that there. We also know that gestation evolves sometime between the duck-billed platypus and the kangaroo, so I can draw another line for a trait there, and then put gestation. There we go. The final trait that evolves comes after the kangaroo, so we know that there's going to be another trait here. And here we're going to put in long gestation, and that's going to go right there. And so now we have finished up this tree. It's got all 4 of the organisms, all 3 of the traits that it indicates, and this would be an accurate version.